Thank you, Paladin Artancus, for joining me on my coffee break.
Anytime. How's
I
your day been there?
My day has been good, and yours?
A drain, but I'm surviving.
I am currently drinking Coca-Cola. Are you drinking an iced coffee or coffee today?
Uh, well, it's got caffeine in it, but it ain't a coffee. What I'm drinking is pretty well much just an energy drink. Trying to recover a little bit from work.
Have you watched the Fallout TV series on? I forget where it's on, but have you watched the Fallout TV series?
On Amazon there, yeah, I have.
This is okay. Well, probably gonna get. If you want to go into spoilers, it's up to you. I'm gonna talk to you about that show now. What's the premise of it?
Uh, it's pretty much like the Fallout games in general. It has the various vaults, the vault dweller within, and the vault dweller's quest per se. In this particular case, her father gets kidnapped. She decides to leave the vault to try and find and rescue him. Similar in a sense to Fallout 3, where the lone wanderer there decides to leave Vault 101 and make a bit of a trek throughout the capital wasteland trying to find his own father, or her own father, depending on which way you went.
Where does the TV show take place?
Uh, Within the west coast of America, around Los Angeles and around, within that Californian region. Game wise, it's Sadie Shan's mostly. So you got Sadie Shan's, the old boneyard, and the like that region within 1 and 2.
Does it being near Los Angeles go against the law of the Fallout universe?
Well, Los Angeles did get pummeled into oblivion, so to speak, but they didn't really stick around Los Angeles too much. They showed one little scene where you saw the pier. So the amusement park on the pier, within Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah. They show one scene of that being off in the background, sort of thing, as she's exited the vault and making her way across the desolate region, sort of thing, trying to find her father. It's a little hit and miss on that regard because you also see early on in the show pre-war based where the nukes were falling on all the like. It's like, yeah, I seriously have some doubts, but it's possible because it's supposed to be like 10 years after Fallout 4's timeline, which is like 210 years after the bombs dropped. So about 220 by the time the show's up.
So do all the big factions show up in the TV show?
Not all the big factions, but three very notable factions, especially for the West Coast, do.
The Brotherhood of Steel, the NCR, and the Enclave?
Yep, those are the three. Yeah, they do show raiders in an essence. but I wouldn't really know if I would call them true raiders or not.
Are
Uh,
Vader's really a quote unquote faction?
they're they get considered a faction because you can join them within 4. In fact, you get kind of forced to join them in 4 at one point. But excuse me, that's a little offside track there. Since you got the Raiders faction, which is split into like multiple sub factions, like the Jackals, the Khans, and the like.
Is the You've watched all of the TV show that's out? Is the whole season out?
Yeah, yeah. The 8 current episodes of the whole of the first season.
So is it just the one character that we're following, the Vault Dweller?
It focuses on 3 of the characters. It goes back and forth between them. There's the Ghoul Bounty Hunter, who's trying to get himself a payday to stave off the feral side of the ghoul, well, being a ghoul sort of thing. But I love how they've decided on that side, on that front, to ignore already stated canon lore and throw their own twist on it by making it a thing where you need to take this drug in order to starve it off. When there's never been that concept whatsoever within the Fallout universe prior to the show.
So there's the person looking for her father. There's the bounty hunter. Who's the third character?
Is a Brotherhood of Steel member who basically is a recruit, I guess you could say. He becomes a squire who, from everything you can see from out of Fallout 4 and the other Fallout games, the squires aren't really meant for field combat. They get taken out for training missions in designated low grade hostile territory sort of thing, which will more than likely not get them killed. Within the TV show, oh, we're just gonna chuck you in the vertibird and send you into the middle of death incarnate, basically, for this particular squire.
Don't most of the Fallout games take place on the East Coast, though?
Most of them actually take place on the west, but there have been some that have done the east, like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. 76 is technically East Coast, if because it's I guess, but even though it's West Virginia, it gets counted as sort of East Coast-ish.
So the factions are all like they are in Fallout 1, 2, and 3, rather than how they might be different in Fallout 4, then.
In many ways, yeah. They tweaked the Brotherhood around, trying to make it more into a church-based system instead of a militaristic-based system, which ruffled my feathers, so to speak.
Did did anything else ruffle your feathers?
I was a little surprised that they went with the Gulper for the West Coast instead of a Gecko or the Night Stalkers, but that wasn't anything too crazy. The fact that they didn't use a jetpack properly for the power armor annoyed me a bit, considering they decided to pull an Iron Man reference with how the Iron Man basically flies in the Marvel universe, those movies. But it was the only thing that really got to me was little bits here and there, which sort of like, okay, the dude's in the power armor, he's trudging through the desert, yet the power armor isn't sinking into the sand, leaving deep footprints. In fact, it's leaving no footprints whatsoever. It was those sort of little bits, it's like the logical side of things that irked me a notch.
On the other hand, what is something in the show that you went, hell yeah, that's right?
Well, I definitely enjoyed the ghoul going ballistic with his goddamn gun, with a particular fight scene early on, with one of the settlements. It was pretty neat. Seeing how they went around with trying to fix up an amputee with what was more or less power armor to a certain degree. Since this one person gets their foot shot off. To make it where they could walk, the person grabs a box of feet as its sort of thing. It's some sort of military thing. Uh, any case, she grabs one piece, shoves it onto his leg. It chews through most of his muscle on that and clamps down. Before she grabs the foot, sticks it on the end, and twists it around till it clicks into place so he can walk. And basically, he's just bleeding out. Doesn't bleed out too quickly. It takes him like a day and a half to bleed out. And I'm like, well, that's definitely Fallout, medical science there for you, sort of thing. But some of it I was quite impressed with. Like the Brahmin was nice. It was a little furry, but it was nice. Overall, I had fun with it. The vaults were like spot on with the games and that for the designs.
On the note of you really liking overall the Fallout TV series, is a really good place to end this. And I have things I need to do, and you are busy in a very short time. So thanks for joining me, cuz Paladin Artancus.
No worries. You take care there for Duke, and always good to chat with you.